This interview is being recorded for an assignment for my cross-cultural management course and will be used during class for educational purposes only. Do I have your consent to record this interview and share it with my class?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, what is your name?
I'm Vikram Hebbar.
Vikram. I'm Yanni. Nice to meet you. And so, what are aspects about your culture that you can be distinguished from other cultures?
Different cultures, different religions have different styles of dressing, different modes of dressing. One of the major problems in India is that there's a religious group called Sikhs.
Okay.
So they wear these turbans,
Mm-hmm.
and they have to wear these turbans
Mm-hmm.
by religious law. They have to wear these turbans. So, but when you're working in a factory where safety is important, you cannot get them to wear safety helmets because these turbans are huge.
Wow.
These turbans are quite huge, and they are not allowed to remove these turbans at all, except when going to sleep or when taking a shower, maybe. But otherwise, they have to wear these turbans. So there are a lot of. This is just an example that I'm giving you. So for different cultures, so you have to take these into allowances, because religious law just prohibits them from removing these turbans. We have to find other ways of making safety possible for them in industries, while accepting that they have some difference in opinion according to religion. Let's also say when it comes to behavior, Muslims, they form almost 20 to 30% of India's population, and they, especially the ones who are very conservative very conservative Islamists, they have to pray at least 5 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And these 5 times, it's just 24 by 5 basically.
Right.
So they just leave in the middle of the job sometimes to pray if they aren't Muslims, so you have to make allowances for that.
Right.
You have to give them a break there. And so there are a lot of cultural differences
That have to be
allowed,
accommodated
for and added to the system and made standard.
Right.
Because otherwise everybody's going to do their own stuff, basically.
So, Vic, does your culture have a specific language, dance ritual, greetings, writings?
Languages are another major problem because in India, India is basically made up of 27 states.
Wow.
And almost every state has its own language. So depending on where you're setting up your organization or your office or your factory, whatever, you would have to deal with local languages.
Okay.
And nationally, our national language is Hindi. So people all over India are supposed to know Hindi.
Okay.
But then it's spoken in varying degrees. Not part of India you would have more fluent Hindi speakers, but in the south of India, people are almost not exposed to Hindi at all because they just have their own languages, and there are those languages that they speak in the south are totally different from Hindi. They don't even share a common dialect or a grammar base, nothing. So you would have to finding a common language that everyone can understand is another problem, and this is probably what the British, when they were in India, they saw this. This was a very good observation that they made, that people were not able to understand each other. Even among Indians could not understand each other. So they decided to make English compulsory in all schools, and this practice is still continued now. In fact, English is the first language I learned.
Wow. Your English is very well.
Yeah. English is the first language I learned. So now it's more or less not a problem because almost everyone can speak English. Mm-hmm. At least the middle class and the higher classes speak English quite fluently.
Right.
The lower classes are still a problem because illiteracy is another major issue in India.
Okay.
A lot of people don't go to school, and this is still a problem. But then almost every Indian is at least trilingual.
Wow.
At least trilingual. So I can speak English and I can speak 5 Indian languages.
So from pretty much out of those 27 states, you can speak 5 of them.
I can speak five languages.
Wow.
So because a lot of Indians can speak multiple languages, you are able to communicate with everybody. At least, usually the lower income groups, they have the menial jobs, or they work on the shop floor, on the lines. So they don't need to communicate with the top management, who are usually talking in terms of global environments. So they don't need to deal with the customers.
Right.
So once the top management gets the plan, they communicate it to the lower levels, the managers who also speak English, and thereafter those guys can communicate it.
Keeps going down the line.
And as it goes down the line, it might change the language.
Right.
Yeah.
And lastly, what are traditional aspects of being a member of this culture? Has the culture changed? If so, in what ways have you seen differences in this culture?
Like I was just saying, now India's economy is going global. It's one of the 3 major developing countries, along with China and Brazil. And most of India's economy comes from technology, computer-related fields. We have a lot of, one of the major industries in India right now is computer programming, software programming. And because of this, we have a customer base that is worldwide. We have a supplier base that is worldwide. So more or less, culture is being shunned when it comes to forming organizations or companies, because culture no longer has a place in terms of economy.
Right.
Because ultimately, the goal of any organization is to make a profit, and culture just
is an expense.
Is an expense. Yes,
right.
Probably. So again, it's changing. It's not yet completely changed. Let's say, okay, the previous generation, the boomers, the baby boomers, they were trying to integrate culture into the organization, and this in some cases has worked, in other cases not, but mostly not.
Right.
If most of your workforce comes from one culture or one religion, then it probably might work, because you have a majority that is conforming to one type of belief or whatever. But now, because of a global economy, and because legally religion does not have a part in the government or the administration or economy.
Okay.
So right now, culture is more or less taking a backseat. Culture and religion is your personal belief. It does not have a place in the workplace. In the workplace, the good of the company is more important than your personal.
It's all about profits. All right. Well, Vic, it was great.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you for coming out, and hope you have a great day.
You too.